Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Rapping with the Rep. I'm State Representative Ken Gordon, and I'm really excited to have an important show to bring to you. We have two of the founders of the very important people with the Skate for the 22 Foundation, Bobby Colleton, who is the founder and president, and Chris Diamond, who is the head of your teaching program,
yeah.
right? We've had the Skate for the 22 on this show before, but this is going to be a bit of a different twist and a little bit of an unusual Rapping with the Rep, because what I want to do is talk about how accessible this program is to veterans. This is a program that was organized now maybe, 4 years ago, Bobby?
We're just into our fourth regular season, full season.
Fourth season. And Bobby had an idea at that time, noticing the shocking, the alarming number of suicides among veterans each day. Nationally, it's estimated at between 20 and 22 every day. And it wasn't something that's touched your life because there were service people that you served with.
Correct.
Who took their lives here.
Correct. At the time, I had three very close personal friends or former soldiers who worked for me commit suicide. And I just couldn't figure out what was missing in their lives for them to do that. And, a team-based environment was all I could really come up with. Yeah. And the lack of purpose.
So what you folks may have seen on the first show was we talked about how this came together and how Bobby's idea was, let's create a team, let's replicate what service people experience when they're part of a company or a platoon in the military, a little more really the camaraderie in the
Correct.
locker room, get people together and really have these players, these veterans, look out for each other. What do I see? Am I noticing something? Does somebody maybe need a little hand? And are they more comfortable talking about the challenges that face them in a locker room, maybe after the game, and then to have a real reason to do it, to be back on a team accomplishing something, and that's hockey, right? So in this time, it's expanded greatly, and I've just had the honor of being able to talk about your program to veterans groups when I do. And one of the questions I get is, well, I don't play hockey, and how do I do this? I don't play hockey, I don't skate. And you have a Learn to Skate program, and that's what we're going to do today. So one of the things we did to prepare for this conversation was that we reached out to each other and said, you know what, I'm going to be 60 years old this year. I haven't skated since I was a kid, basically. But you were kind enough to say, well, let's give that let's put you through those paces, and we'll start the Learn to Skate program. And folks, if I could do it, if I could start to do it, any of you could do it, and any of you veterans, try. And we'll show a little bit about that. I'm a little bit like Bambi on the ice. It's the before picture, but we'll get there. And I appreciate that opportunity to show the veterans out there that they shouldn't be stopped by any inexperience in skating. So talk about, and Chris, you're in charge of the Learn to Skate program. Talk about what effect it's had on the veterans and what your experience has been.
It's had a major effect on a lot of them. I think just getting the guys at the rink, and obviously the first important question that comes when they want to come join the program is hockey's expensive. So what Bobby has done a great job with, and we have some good partners, is STX Hockey Equipment, just donating equipment, getting old skates, and just anything we can get to provide full gear for anyone that shows up. So it's literally zero cost to them. And I think once they hear that, it makes them a little more comfortable because they don't want to go spend a few $100s on equipment if they're really not going to like it. So that makes it easier for them to show up on day one. And then from there, once we get there, it's, they start talking with this guy, that guy, and it's like they have a lot of things in common, whether they serve together or they know people that serve with these people, whatever it is. So it's just been huge. I mean, when I first joined with Bobby, I don't know, I think it was around maybe 100, 150 people. Mm-hmm. Now he's over 400, which is incredible, over 2.5 years, I think. So yeah.
This is a program that's available to veterans at absolutely no cost to them.
Yep.
Correct.
Until they get to the point where they may want to buy themselves
Correct.
a piece of equipment or two, but they don't have to. They come in.
You're absolutely right. But even if they do want to buy a piece of equipment, we work with hockey companies, like Chris said, manufacturers, to get them the best possible equipment at the lowest price or at no price possible.
Yeah. And Chris, I know that, Bobby, you were introduced to hockey as an adult, and that
Correct.
was meaningful to you. Chris, you played in college. You're a BU Terrier.
Yep.
And talk about your hockey experience. I mean, we're talking about somebody, folks, who really knows what he's doing when he's teaching hockey and running this program.
Yeah, I've been obviously playing since I was 3, I believe, but I've been doing camps for probably 18, 19 years now, just a lot of times working for other people and everything, and then I went off my own a few years back, and one of the first things I want to do is just try and give back to the military community, so I came up with the idea, I'll try and give their children free camps or whatever I can do, like discounted camps for their parents, whatever it was. So kind of put something out there, and one thing led to another, and then I got linked up with Bobby. And I didn't start out specifically going for suicide awareness. It was more I just, as a non-veteran, wanted to try and give back as any way I could. And really all I know is hockey. So that's kind of how that got started. It's kind of been a really good relationship working with the foundation now. So
yeah,
it's been great.
You're being a little modest, but I know you won 3 bean pots with BO.
Yeah,
and then
I don't talk about that stuff anymore.
And then you played professionally for several years.
Yeah.
And now you can lend that expertise to this program.
Yeah, honestly, it's funny. Sorry to interrupt, but it's crazy now seeing these guys, like, the days we have a game, like a foundation event, like they'll get up 6 a.m., they'll start posting things like game day, let's go, this, that, and everything. So the passion they have for hockey right now is what I used to have. I mean, I still love playing and love skating, but I just really love coaching and teaching now. But it's like, to see 40-year-old guys get up and just be that pumped up about going to play a hockey game is it's pretty awesome. So
is that what you would see among your teammates when you were playing professionally?
Yeah, in a different manner, but yeah, I mean, obviously we had a serious passion for the game, and just to see that same passion with these guys, and like you said, some of them have never played games before, so it's their first game they've ever played, or they haven't played a game in 20 years, whatever it is. It's pretty awesome seeing that type of passion come out.
So talk to me about what you did was you introduced me to one of your teachers. Carrie, and talk about her experience, what she brings. She's also a Beanpot winner from Northeastern.
She is. So we're very fortunate to have a plethora of former college level or pro players that give credibility, not only credibility to the program, but give instruction that you just can't get any way other, because these are people that grew up playing the game, played at an extremely high level, and like Chris said, are passionate about coaching and teaching, just like Carrie Allen, who's one of our directors on the board, who was president for Massachusetts hockey as well. So she's been in Massachusetts her whole life and has been around hockey, and now is able to give back. And what I think a player is going to get from people like Carrie and from Chris is genuineness on the ice, that they want to be there with them, and that they're volunteering their time because they care not only about the sport of hockey, but about the veteran themselves, and want to help beat the suicide epidemic in the way that they can. And that's by helping them learn to be a better player, a better team member, just overall a better human through the sport of hockey.
You really hit upon it, is what I saw from Carrie. And Chris, I know that what you demonstrate as well is that caring and that concern. You're not doing it because it's a part-time job. You're not doing it for, that's a good motivation as well. But you're doing it because you really care about these veterans. You really want them to be part of this program. And Carrie, when she spent about 45 minutes an hour with me, she's a middle school teacher, I think, right?
Yep.
As a profession, so she's very patient with folks like me who are flailing about. But I could see that, she really wants the success to come out. She knows this is opening doors for people.
And what's unique about our Learn to Skate skills progression program is something maybe a little different from like youth programs where it's a structured, rigid, system. We still implement that. Carrie and Chris still do that, but they also get out there on the ice and they say, what do you want to learn? Yeah. What do you want to work on? And I've had this conversation many times with Chris. I said, Chris, I'm 40 years old. You're never going to make me draftable into the NHL, but you can make me better doing this one skill so I can use that in a game, or I can see how that skating technique is going to translate into me playing a game. And that's a really key component, that someone can come off the street from our program and go through our Learn to Skate program and be playing in games, in scrimmages within that season. From someone who may have never skated, or from someone that may have skated when they were a kid or in high school and now they're 20 years older and they're jumping back into it. And it's almost like seamless in the transition from not skating to playing with us.
Are most of the instructions given in group situations or in individual situations, or does it just vary?
It varies, yeah. I mean, we've had sessions where, it's been me and 2 or 3 guys on the ice, and that's it. We've also had it where it's, me and 20 guys on the ice. So it varies.
And
yeah, it's the other point I wanted to bring up too is we have a lot of good rinks in the area that have donated a lot of free ice to us or discounted ice, because obviously that's a major expense. So we don't always get the best hours, so it's been tough to kind of find the happy medium with guys that are working during the day or guys that are working at night. So to have ice available that they can make, so we try and do it once or twice a week as best we can. So it's different times and they can make it. But some of the guys the other thing is some of the guys drive like 2 or 3 hours just to come for a 1 hour session, just because that's how much they love it. Again, it goes back to the passion. So but the size of the groups can vary.
I bring that up because when I was out there with Carrie, you were there, Bobby, and you were really encouraging, and it was helpful to me because as she was giving me some level of instruction, you were saying things like, look up, look at me, which is important. Yeah, and because and I can imagine that among the veterans now that have more experience than those in the Learn to Skate program, you must support each other in that way. So when that player is out playing their first game, they're also getting that kind of support too.
That's spot on, really. And what's, again, is kind of different about the way we do things in the organization is we really don't separate games by skill level. We really, because we have the ability to play our own foundation teams against each other, we can vary the skill levels inside the game itself. So, you may be on a hockey line, you may be playing as a winger with 2 other guys or girls, because we are a co-ed organization that, played high school hockey, played maybe some sort of college club hockey, or played a junior program, and you're a newer player, but these 2 individuals are helping you out. And they're going to be there on the bench. They're not going to stop helping you between shifts. They're going to talk to you about, hey, maybe if you try this, let's go like this. If you put yourself here, it doesn't stop.
Right.
And you find that those individuals become friends off the ice as well.
Right.
And it's funny because you can see the individuals who are newer to the sport want to get better because they want to be there for their team. Not to get better because they just want to get better at hockey. They want to be an asset to their team. And so they'll come to the skills clinics. They'll come to the Learn to Skate programs. Even if they've already been a graduate of the Learn to Skate program, they'll still come back and work with Coach Carey and say, can you make me a better at my left turns, or can you make me better stopping or skating backwards? And it's kind of a never-ending process. And it's every game is the same way. Is people are helping each other on the bench, off the bench, with equipment. Like it's really unique to kind of pull back and watch and see.
I've been fortunate enough to be able to watch a few of your games. You played the Legislature, and you've played here at the Edge in Bedford a number of times, and here in Burlington. And while everyone wants to win, and that's true, I could see that camaraderie being so important. And the teams that you play outside of your program have so much respect for your team that it's a pleasure to see the sportsmanship, the teamwork. As you said, it's just what you see in front of you unfolding in your team is it's unusual. And to have that come right here from Burlington, a grassroots program.
It's pretty awesome.
It is.
Yep.
It's really breathtaking that 400 players in this brief amount of time, and you're still growing.
Correct.
And those of you watching here today is the reason, hopefully some of you are, is to join this program. You made a good point about, Chris, about the availability of the ice. It may not be the most desirable time all the time, but sometimes it is, right? And at no cost to the player. That means the ice time. It also means, I know that you've been working with the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce Charitable Foundation for a few years.
Yep.
So that players get a real uniform. I mean, you really belong.
Correct.
And they look great because it's not just the threads, it's that you're on a team and you're proud of that.
Yep. That's a big part of it. And I think like when I really, some people would call me like a gearhead or like a perfectionist even on some of those things, but it's very, very important to me because in the military, you had to dress a certain way. You had to look a certain way. You had to act a certain way because you were part of a team. You were part of a unit. You had certain things that made you have that identity. And you can probably back me up on this, is if you don't have that on the ice, if you don't all look the same, if you don't dress the same, then it's not really there. But when you're able to provide that, everybody that skates, you use our practice jerseys. So you're right off the bat, you're saying something that's either Eagles hockey or Cannons hockey or Mountaineers hockey. It's that identity, that logo. Then when you're playing in a game, you're wearing the same color socks, you're wearing the same color jerseys. We try to have shells so people can kind of match, but you look professional, they feel professional, and they have a pride in it as well. And we do offer, unfortunately, we don't have the capital to give everybody everything, but you'll see these individual players wanting to buy T-shirts, wanting to buy bags, wanting to buy hats, wanting to buy warm-ups, and you walk into a locker room, it's like you're walking into an NHL game because they have their Under Armour shirts, they have their bags, they have their warm-ups, they'll hang their jerseys up. They don't throw their jerseys on the ground. They take pride in it, and they take pride in who they are as a member of the Skate for the 22, but who they are as a member of their individual club. And
you said it, and that's what I was thinking, they take pride in it. You've given them that opportunity to come back into a group that you can really be proud of for what it's done. You were mentioning that you have men and women coming in to join the program. Are there many women that come into the Learn to Skate? I mean,
there are. As a matter of fact, we have this is a great story. We have a veteran couple who the male is a hockey goalie, and the female, his wife, was a huge supporter inside the foundation. She would do raffles for us. She would run a lot of that stuff. She came to me about 3 weeks ago and said, I want to do more. I want to get on the ice. I want to get into the Learn to Skate program. I want to really be a part of this. And I said, no problem. We have one starting, this coming Friday night. And she's all in, and her husband supports that. And not only is she all in, she's actually bringing her son, who's a Marine veteran. So it's going to be a family affair at the Learn to Skate program because they want to be a part of it too. And so that's our first female this season who's going to be going through the Learn to Skate program. But we've had success in the past with females coming through the Learn to Skate program. Don't let it be a barrier to you that you think you're not good enough or you think someone's going to make fun of you, because that's not the case. Like, you can start from no experience, and I guarantee we'll get you out there. We'll get you on the ice. We'll get you playing. We'll get you happy, all playing hockey.
And speaking of that, let's spend a few minutes watching Carrie Allen working with me. I was someone who hasn't had skates on for years and years. She was tremendously patient and encouraging. And so anyone who's interested in learning to the point where they can, like you say, participate, maybe not in 45 minutes, but not too many sessions after that, sees when we're talking about men and women joining, being a woman, being on the women's Beanpot team at Northeastern, she also can relate to women who want to come in and participate. So take a look, and we'll come back in a minute.
Stick, bend your knees, don't look down. Your feet aren't going to fall off. I promise.
All right.
That's what I tell the kids. Your feet are not going to fall off.
No, I'm the kids.
What's that?
I said, no, I'm the kids.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
Just bend more, like you're about to sit in a chair.
Okay.
Okay? Because this is where you're going to be sturdy. If you stand and do I guarantee you, if I do the standing, I'm probably going over.
Okay.
Because I'm not as sturdy.
Okay.
Okay? So chest up, bend. There you go. So push with the left and step it over your right. But you got to get on that outside edge of your right foot.
But then I'm going to go that way.
Push with your left, step over to your right. Your right's going on the outside foot, outside edge.
So how long did it take you to get comfortable?
What day is it?
No,
it's never comfortable, but it's...
Well, for those guys on TV, it's got to be.
So it's quick. Once the moment you just start trusting yourself, it's over.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
you just do it. You just naturally do it when you start your skating stride. It's just that moment. I see you wanting to do it. I see you like you're there.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to skate to the right-hand side of the far face-off dot, and you're going to turn Just lean into your turn, trust your edges, and then you're going to do a figure 8. Come to the left-hand side of this one. So
do I have to do crossovers to turn?
Nope. Nope.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
As long
here we
as I
go.
don't do crossovers.
So we're going to go lean, 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 turn, 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 whip that body around. There you go. Bend your knees, stick on the ice. There you go. Really stride. I want you to extend those legs when you're striding. Remember the differences I showed you when I was standing straight versus when I was bending. Lean, 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 lean. Good. Bend, 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 bend. Knees, knees, knees. Knees, knees, knees. You're bending at your hips, not your ankles and knees.
Okay.
Good, 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 good. So you're gonna keep that puck on your stick now. So you have to lead with your stick. Because if you don't lead with your stick, you're gonna lose your puck. Spread your hands apart a little bit more, bend your knees more. Look at it, you're leaning forward better. When I pass this puck, it's going to start on the heel of my stick, and it's going to roll to my toe, and I'm going to point my stick to your stick.
Okay.
Okay? And it's a push. It's just a push. And when I receive, just like in baseball, you put your glove out in front and you give.
Okay.
It's the same thing here. Okay? Good. You're a pro at this. Play street hockey?
Well, at my age, it's always a maybe.
There you go. All right, so now pull in, pull, 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 pull. Good. Push. Pull.
Yep, chest head up.
Yep. Out and in.
All right, I'm going to come back and practice this.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are the basics.
All right, skate for the 22. Bobby Colleton, thank you. Kelly, thank you. Appreciate it. Kelly can teach you how to skate in 6 short weeks, she said. You'll be skating. All right, learn to skate for the 22. If I can do it, you can do it. So now we're back, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So this is a program that is tremendously important for so many reasons, but let's talk about suicide among veterans. We were talking a little bit before the show started that, and Bobby, you were talking about this. Recently here in Massachusetts, we've experienced instances of veteran suicide. Can you talk about that a little?
So I know in this week alone, there were 3 that I know of, veteran suicides in Massachusetts. The good thing about it is it's fairly uncommon in Massachusetts for veteran suicides per the rest of the United States. I think we're on the lower end of it, but it's still happening. The larger states that have larger populations, dense populations of veterans are hit a little harder, but the bottom line is 20 to 22 veterans a day are committing suicide. And the other thing that's alarming is this year alone, the number of active duty suicides has increased.
Hey.
I think it was to point today, like 89 active duty Air Force suicides since January. The other services are close to that, but it's crazy, and we just try to do something to cut that down. We got to get that down.
Yeah, and isolation is something that really can increase the chances that somebody just doesn't have anyone to look out for them, and then they can become more desperate, and they believe that their options are limited, even if there's something they can do, and then they can reach out to you.
Yeah, a lack of belonging, a lack of being part of something, bigger than yourself that you can give to, I think is a big part of what drives some of those suicides, and that's why we exist, because we give them the team to belong to. We give them the tools to make them better than themselves.
And here's what I think is so important, is that your group brings veterans together. Sometimes the veterans may be already affected by anxiety or depression or PTSD, and maybe not. But it's proactive, because you're getting to veterans. And you're not seeking out necessarily veterans who are struggling with issues. You're seeking out all veterans.
Correct.
Because the veterans are going to help each other.
Absolutely.
In that population, like in any population, you will that will happen. But you're dealing with incidents that, you're getting ahead of that curve, so it doesn't happen, so that you can help people that may be challenged, but also so that it doesn't happen. And the other thing that you're doing, and I may be talking a little bit too much, and you're my guest, but I'm so impressed with your program, because there's a shame that's always been instilled in suicide. We don't talk about it. And so if someone sees that someone may be affected and that person might be talking about suicide, they may not report it. They may feel like, that's something I shouldn't talk about. Yep. Your group will.
The word suicide has been a bad word forever, but it's a word. And if you don't say it, then people might not know what you mean. So the days of, hey, are you going to hurt yourself, are gone.
Yeah.
Like, are you thinking about suicide? You need to be upfront and honest, because that may shake that person. Be like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I've been down lately, or this. You know what I mean? But you have to, we have to take it head on. And if we can't say the word,
right,
we're not going to beat it at all. And that's some of the things that we try to impress upon, is that, pay attention to your battle buddies. Pay attention to the people in the locker room with you. And through our social media, through everything we've done, through programs like this, it may be someone watching that says, my cousin's a veteran and he just wasn't the same when they came back, and I'm going to talk to him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask him how they're doing. Or my coworker's son, or my coworker's husband, or my coworker's wife. Have that conversation and use those words, because it could save a life.
Yeah. And I think I've told you this before, probably many times, because I'll never forget the grandmother in Wilmington that came up to me and said, I heard you talk. It was at the 9/11, I'm sorry, it was the moving wall, the Vietnam Memorial Moving Wall. She said, I heard you talk about this when my grandson joined, and it changed his life. It's that one veteran, you can do that. And then what happens? They talk to other veterans and bring them in. Chris, you mentioned that you're not a veteran, nor am I. And talk about that. It's a way of really supporting veterans.
Yeah,
directly.
I was going to mention, a lot of people, and it's no fault to them, but a lot of people only recognize the veteran community on certain holidays.
Yeah, that's right. And
in between those holidays, it kind of goes unrecognized, and no one's talking about it, no one's doing this or that, or saying thanks to these guys on a daily basis. So again, hockey's the reason they all come together, but I think once they get there, even some of the people don't necessarily love the hockey, but they love the family, the community they get when they get there. So to me, it's a great sport, but on top of that, it's just seeing all these awesome people come together and how it's affected their lives has just been pretty awesome.
Do the veterans get together outside of hockey on things like projects, installing and helping with someone's home or things like that? Do you do that too?
We do, and we have that ability. That's one of our pillar missions in the foundation is threefold. Supportive team environment, suicide prevention and suicide awareness, as well as supporting families in need of either a veteran suicide or just in need in general in the veteran population. We can get people together, we can get work details, but they help each other. You see that they have their own players union page on Facebook, and they ask, hey, I'm moving, can someone bring a truck? And see all the banter, you see the people helping each other back and forth. They took ownership of it. It's their family, it's their community.
And you mentioned the Eagles, you mentioned the Mountaineers?
The Mountaineers in Maine, and then the Cannons in New Hampshire. And then hopefully very soon, the North Shore will have their own team, the Rebellion, and then the South Shore will have the Shellbacks. So we're already looking to expand.
Unbelievable. Starting right here in Burlington.
That's right.
With the Eagles, the first team, and now you've got that number of teams. It's just tremendous. And again, I'm just so proud of the work that you've done on this grassroots level to bring this together, player by player. So folks, I know that we've been showing the website, skateforthe22.org.
Yep.
Skateforthe22.org. And what I want you to do is, if you're a veteran watching this, consider going to that website and signing up. You're already in. Bobby, you've used your line. If you're a veteran, you're already in. All you have to do is tell them that you're here by signing up, and then come in.
Non-veterans can donate anything they got.
Equipment,
whatever they got. Time,
right.
Whatever they got.
Equipment, time, and importantly also, spread the word. If you're not a veteran, talk to veterans that you know. Take the opportunity to keep in mind that there's a place that veterans can go where they're welcomed, where they're part of a team again, and where they will look out for each other to try to address and prevent instances that are happening before they're even ever considered. It's tremendous work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Really is. I'm so proud to have you back here on Rapping with
We
the Rep.
appreciate it.
Bobby, anytime, please
Thank
come
you.
back. Chris, it's great to have you as our guest. Folks, we look forward to seeing you next time on Rapping with the Rep.